Hey crew, it's Pitt, and I'm back with today's Timeless Tarot reading for September the 27th of 2025, but this is a Timeless Tarot reading, so whenever it finds you is exactly when you were meant to find it. We will be pulling 8 cards from the Divine Feminine, 8 cards from the Divine Masculine, in accordance with the 8 human chakras, and walk in the path of the tarot, so that we can get a better understanding of how best to manifest our highest timelines in accordance with Spirit. Well, I've already done a pre-shuffle, but I'd like to get a couple more just to make sure everything is where Spirit would like to be. And I'd like to take this time to let you know that I am available for direct consultations on Connect at the link provided down below. And I do have a book available for purchase, also provided down below. And now we will begin pulling in the base. And in the base we have the 3 of Pentacles. In the sacral, we have the 6 of Pentacles in reverse. In the solar plexus, we have the 9 of Wands in reverse. In the heart, we have the 5 of Pentacles. In the throat, we have the 2 of Wands in reverse. In the third eye, we have the 3 of Swords. And in the crown, we have the 8 of Swords in reverse. We will save the 8th card for the end of the read, but feel free at any point to let me know what you think that it will be. Next, we will pull from the Divine Masculine deck. The Divine Feminine, the cards that are already on the table, lets us know the current energies, the current situation. And the Divine Masculine lets us know what steps and actions that we can take to help manifest our highest timeline in accordance with Spirit. And now, we will begin pulling in the crown. And in the crown, we have the Moon. In the third eye, we have the Queen of Swords in reverse. In the throat, we have the 6 of Wands. In the heart, we have the Star in reverse. In the solar plexus, we have the King of Pentacles in reverse. In the sacral, we have the Chariot. And in the base, we have the Page of Pentacles. That is a lot of Pentacles today. And we will save the 8th card for the end of the read. But again, feel free to let me know what you think that these cards will be at any point in time. First, we're going to get a good read of the room, and we have 1, 2, 3. We have 3 major arcana. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 pentacles. We have 1, 2, 3 swords, and we have 1, 2 wands. We have no cups represented. Not a lot of feelings today, but there may be something about provision. All right, let's walk the path of tarot and see what the cards are telling us. We begin with hopes and fears. This is the realization that there is a path. These are things you hope might come true or that you fear might come true. The balance between those is going to be faith, believing that the next step will be the correct step to get to the place that you want to be. And here today, in your hopes and fears, you are looking at the 8 of Swords. Now, the 8 of Swords is about thoughts, and it is about the presentation of a new path. The 8 is the 1 on a higher level. It is the path of authority. This is swords, and swords are soul. They are thought and intellect. They are communications and combat and clarity. This card is self-imposed restrictions. This lady does not know that she has the ability to have a new life because she believes that she is being held captive by these thoughts. Now, these thoughts are present, but they are in the past. They did hold her captive, but they no longer do so. She has a blindfold on and she is bound, but her feet are free. She can walk away. Her hands are even free. She could work herself free, but she believes that she is still being held captive. This is a card about self-imposed restrictions, self-doubts, self-incrimination, those type of things. When this is standing upright, in the Divine Feminine, this is saying that your current situation is that you are restricting yourself by your thoughts or your ideas. It could be a communication issue, but that is very much not intimated by this. This is communication. This is in the reverse, so it is less of that energy. It is in the current situation. It is still a new path being presented. It is around an idea. But this is you letting go of those. Now, your hopes probably rely upon you letting go of these self-imposed restrictions. Now, that is going to be clarified by the moon. And the moon is going to be a, what is that? It is a 18. And so this is going to be an understanding. There is an understanding to be had here. This is an 18, so it is going to be on the highest path of attainment, which is around emotions. This is a Pisces card. This is a change card. What we see is that the sun and the moon, it is the moon, but it can be the sun as well, by these rays, right, is overlooking the light and the dark towers, both equally. There's a path that runs between them, and on either side you have the domestic side of man and the wild side of man, the animalistic nature. And you were to walk the balance in between those. And then all the way at the bottom, there's a little crawfish coming out of the water. This crawfish is fully armored. He is able to take care of himself, but he is coming out of his comfort zone. He is allowing himself to walk the path by coming out of where he is comfortable. And so if we put these two together, what we are looking at is you need to embrace some change. Your active card is telling you what to do, right? The steps you can take. You can embrace your change and overcome these self-imposed restrictions in order to realize your hopes. It could be fears, but there's a less of that energy. Now we're going to move to the decisions, right? Once you realize that there is a path, there is a decision to make about it. Do you want to walk it? Do you not? Either one is valid, but you have to make the decision. This is the area that deals with sloth and diligence, working towards your goals, not working towards your goals. The balance is going to be patience, taking the appropriate step at the appropriate time to get to the appropriate destination. You have here today a choice around a thought. This is swords. Or an idea, right? It could be communications. Again, there is less of that energy on this side of the read. But this can be a betrayal card. That is normally what is intimated by this by most people. It is a sense of betrayal. The Three of Cups is going to be a sense of celebration. This Three of Pentacles down here, that is a sense of cooperation. This is a sense of betrayal. This is you possibly believing that this is happening. It could literally be a betrayal. This is what you envision in your future, however, so it is probably not. If it was over here, or even in your core, it might be, even in the sexual energy. But this is you envisioning. This is a thought. This is a thought. This is a sense of, you may feel like you're being betrayed, or that you might be betrayed. In your current energy, you have to make a decision about an interpersonal communication or relationship idea, right? The sense of betrayal does have some sense of someone else, even though this is not one of the interpersonal spots. This is much like this self-imposed restriction here, right? This, you are overcoming in your hope. This is you making a decision about that, more than likely. And I say that because of this clarifier. You have here the Queen of Swords, right? Both of these are idea cards in idea spots. It is more than likely going to be your idea. This is the Queen in reverse. But when she is standing tall, this is the overcoming energy. This is growth and nurturing, not necessarily in the challenge, but just past the challenge. She is looking forward into the future, seated upon her throne of authority with her sword of discernment, seeing clearly. These clouds are down, they are lowering. She is able to see over them for the first time. Can be that moment of clarity. This is the active card in the reverse, so it is not you achieving that clarity. This is possibly a little bit of obscurity. This can indicate that you have a decision to make around a thought or an idea, and it may not be entirely clear how you are to proceed. A better representative of this would have been the Two of Swords, but this is fairly good as well, right? The Three is the next step past the Two. You made the decision, now you got to learn something. The Three is something to learn. I did not hit that. The Three is something to learn, always. This is something to learn about an idea or a thought, and it may be related to a betrayal. But it may just be you, in a sense that you're betraying yourself. It may be that you feel like you're betraying something. It does not necessarily have to be someone else. And with the Queen, it probably isn't. She is not seeing clearly. She is obscured. She does not have the full view. But she still is part of the choice. So even though you have this sense where you feel like there's a betrayal of some type, possibly, this is saying you're not going to be able to see clearly when you are making that decision. But you still have to make that decision. You should use all of the resources you have available, but you're probably going to have to make a decision somewhat blindly. Next, we go to lessons. Once you have made a choice, there is something to learn. How do you learn? Through communication. Either with the world in general or with someone else in particular. You are communicating through your throat. This is the area of lessons, but it is also the area that deals with pride and humility. Pride is valuing yourself too much. Humility is not valuing yourself enough. And the balance between that is going to be thankfulness. Being thankful that you can do a good job, understanding it does not make you better than anyone. This is the area of communication, right? You have a choice to make about change. Now, this is a choice that you are not making or not communicating, but it has already been presented to you. If this is in the upright, this is a new choice presenting itself to you, right? This is you need to make a choice about change because it is wands, and wands are spirit, fire, life, light logos, intuition, and change. And so this can indicate those things. What this is a 2. A 2 is about a choice. So there is a choice. This is a communication area. This is you need to communicate about a choice. And this is you not currently doing so, even though it really is something that you need to do. And it is highly recommended that you do so, right? Communicate about this choice. Even if it may appear that there might be some negative connotations, that is most likely self-limiting doubts. You need to embrace the change. Now, your clarifier for this 2 is the 6. This is the Queen on a lesser level for wands, but this is the victory card. Right? This is what I call the victory card. This is the most indicative of victory out of all of them. It is a 6, so again, it is the overcome, victory, growth, and nurture. But also, he is riding the white horse of victory or assistance into the future. He has his wand of change, and attached to it is a laurel of victory. And then on his head is also a laurel of victory. These people are celebrating his victory as he rides into his change. This is your actions to take. This is you being victorious around the change, this decision that you are not communicating. It does appear that you made the decision, right? This is you not communicating the decision, right? With this context of these 2 cards, this envisioning your future, this is you not communicating that. And you need to learn to communicate clearly what you are doing, right? This is you already made the decision, right? The decision is still there. There is a lesson to learn about it, but this is victory, right? You can't have victory on the other side of the choice. You have to have already made the choice. And so this is you communicating about that victory by being victorious and like maybe being a little bit prideful in the area of communication. This is pride and humility. Maybe you undervalue yourself a little bit. This would be you deciding to go ahead and value yourself, to understand that this victory is important. Next, we go to an understanding. This is the core self. This is the true being, but this is also an interpersonal relationship. You communicate and then understand. But this is the area that deals with greed and charity. Greed is loving the things of the mortal coil just a little bit too much. Charity is loving the things of the spiritual coil just a little bit too much. Neither one is intrinsically good, but the balance between there is generosity. Giving appropriately to help others, but understanding that you are meant to have some things. And you have here the problem with provision. Now, this is a Pentacles. Pentacles are about provision. They are body. They are about sensing things. But it is about, do you have a home? Do you have a job? Do you have food? Do you have money? are you provided for? This is the path of provision, but this is a 5. And a 5 is a challenge. Once you have the understanding, you can rise to meet the challenge. But right now, in your understanding spot, you have a challenge around money. There is something that you need to understand about your money situation. This is the card of destitution. All right. These people are outside of the safe, holy place. One of them, at least, is injured. Neither one of them is really equipped to be out in the snow. They don't have money. They don't have food. They don't have a home. They are not provided for. That is the challenge of provision, at least on the first level, right? The first level is paying your bills, having a job. This can indicate a little bit of destitution. Maybe you are on the broke side of things. That is a common occurrence these days. We are not quite to that turnaround that is coming with the new year, but this is you currently facing a challenge in your understanding around money. Now, this can indicate that maybe you're being greedy. It can indicate maybe you're being a little bit too frivolous. Maybe you're giving away too much money. What you have as your clarifier is the Wish Upon a Star card. Now, this is going to be a 12 and no, a 17, right? 10, 5, 2, 17. So this is going to be learning something, right? So a 17 is going to be the highest expression of learning. This is going to be on the path of cups. Again, the emotions, the feeling are only showing up through your major arcana. When this is standing tall, this is make a wish upon a star and it will come true. This is set your goals, set your guide, be balanced, and do. What she is doing is she is underneath these 8 stars, one of which might be the sun. She is pouring waters equally upon the land and the earth. She is standing upon the water and she has 1 foot on the land, right? She is balanced between the waters of life on the land and the earth, standing on the waters and the earth. That represents balance. This is make your wishes expressed and they will come true. This is associated with your challenge of deprivation. This is in the reverse, which may indicate that you are not expressing what you desire. Now, this can indicate that what you are desiring is coming to you. But with these 2 cards together, right, you are currently facing some deprivation. This is a future card, and it might indicate a change in that. But this is probably saying that you need to understand how to express yourself, right? How to say what your wishes are, how to put into action your manifestation efforts. This is the core of manifestation. The heart is the philosopher's stone. And so it does appear that this is the alchemy to change around this physical situation. And it has to do with you speaking aloud your desires, right? What do you want to wish upon the star? You are not currently doing so. You kind of need to. Next, we go to challenges. Once you have the understanding, then it is time to rise to meet the challenge. This is the area that deals with gluttony and temperance, the overconsumption of the mortal, or gluttony and denial, not temperance. The overconsumption of the mortal coil, the non-consumption of the mortal coil, neither one is good. The balance is going to be moderation, using the appropriate fuel to get to your appropriate destination. And you have the 9 of Wands. Now, a 9 is a choice. On a higher level, you have a challenge around a choice. Both of your amplification side, the right-hand path, both of those are telling you that you have a choice in the current situation that you are not making, right? This is a challenge around the choice of change on a higher level. This is the reiteration of the higher level of the 2 in Wands related to each other around manifestation. When this is standing tall, this is the wounded warrior. He has just overcome some challenges. He's trying to make a decision about what to do next. He is no longer in any danger, but his head is wrapped. His battles were a little bit tough to get here. This is in the reverse. So again, this is saying that you are not making the decision or not communicating it effectively. That might be the communicate or the challenge associated with it. But this is a choice around change as a challenge. And it is clarified by the harvest, right? This is coming to the harvest of the Pentacles. This is the highest level of harvest attainable on the path of provision. This king is looking into the future, but he has all of the entrapments of provision, right? He is well provided for in this card. There is all kinds of accoutrements that say, hey, you are benefiting, right? He is the perfectly formed divine masculine, making the correct choices around money. You have it in the reverse, so there may be a challenge that you need to make a decision about around money that you are not, or you are not expressing quite clearly because of this. This does appear to be a tie, right? This is a victory. This would be a victory as well, right? This, if this was presented in the upright, the harvest is a victory. The harvest is the rewards for your just work. Now, this is not currently in your life. This can indicate that maybe you are, right, if he is making the appropriate decisions when it is upright, this can be that you are not. Maybe there is something that you need to invest in. That would be a higher level of attainment for provision. Maybe this destitution is you making a choice, stating your goals aloud. This can indicate destitution as well, right? The harvest not there. If it was in the active or the current situation, that would probably be the read for it in this particular spot, right, as a challenge. But this is steps and actions, right? This is what you can do. And so, as something that you can do, the king is going to get to the harvest, but the harvest is coming, right? If you make this decision, then you get the harvest. Possibly, right? I don't really know how to do that here as a challenge in the active spot any other way than you making the correct decisions. Possibly you don't have all of the information for that. This is a path, right? Envision your future, empower your future, fuel your future. This can be you're using the wrong fuel. This can be the harvest is not the right one. But this is probably you need to bring an end to something. You have a decision about change. A decision about change. Wands. There is something about the path of provision that you are on. It is a higher path, right? But there is a decision you need to make about ending it, possibly, or maybe even starting it. It is, like if this was in the upright, that's more of the ending it energy, right? This is, the harvest is here. Your challenge is the harvest. Bringing in your food is still a challenge, right? When you harvest plants, it is work. There is still a challenge involved. In the reverse, there is less of that energy. And so this can be the harvest coming a little bit slower, but you do have a fast harvest coming. And so this appears to be you making the correct decisions, right? You have a decision to make around change. You are either not making it or not expressing it quite clearly. And that is reiterated, right? This 2 and this 9 are the same thing. One is about communication. One is in your challenge position. Next, we go to the overcome and nurture energy. Once you have risen to meet the challenge, then you get a brief minute of respite. You get to breathe for a minute, weed, water, and fertilize your garden. This is the area of procreation. This is the area of physical creation. So it might be children. It does deal with lust and chastity, giving away the physical affection, not receiving the physical affection. The balance is going to be a sacred union, finding that one person to share yourself with. But this is not necessarily that. It is all physical generation. It can be a business. It can be you wanting to write a book. It can be a screenplay. It can be you taking control of your life in a positive manner, right? This is positive steps forward. There is no indication of other people, right, necessarily. What you have here, right, this is the 6 of Pentacles. In the 6th spot, there is something here about the growth and nurture, right, the overcome energy. This, when it is standing tall, this is the Charity card. This guy has just overcome this deprivation, which is linked with your decision about this change. This is, he has just overcome it, and he remembers where he came from. He used to be one of these people on this 5, but now he's got a little bit of money, so he's giving some away, right? He's not selling anything, but he's giving it away appropriately, being generous in his ways. This is how you nurture your harvest, how you get to the harvest. This is in the reverse, right? Remember we were talking about these financial decisions. Maybe you were giving away money, right? This can be the same thing. There are some financial decisions that are not nurturing your current situation. Maybe you are being a little bit too generous. Now, generosity is tied to time. It's not necessarily money. Money is in exchange for time. You work your time, you get money, you exchange that for someone else's time. And so this can be that maybe you're not being generous enough with your time. But this appears to be that you are making some wrong decisions financially. Maybe you have some subscriptions that you forgot about, right? And they are hitting your bank account and you don't even remember it. This is not nurturing, not overcoming, not growing around financials. But it is in your nurture spot, right? This is how you nurture. It is your current situation. So it is entirely likely that you are spending money in the wrong way. You are physically generating your provisionary path possibly in the wrong way. This can be you're doing your work, your job, whatever it happens to be, but it's not effective, right? What you are doing is not particularly effective right now, right? It can be in the future possibly, but right now you are not reaping the rewards from it. Right? This is the spirit of charity. This is the charity card, but it's in the reverse, which indicates a need for some greed, right? Not overwhelming, right? But there is a balance to be stricken. And clarifying that with some steps that can be taken is the harvest, right? This is change, again, but this is change that you are in full control of. This is change that you are making decisions about. This is change that you are trying to bring into your life. The tower is change that you have no control over. The wheel is change that you have some control over. This is change that you have full control over. It is presented in the upright, in your position of how to nurture yourself to the harvest as the harvest of the provisionary path. This card is the clarifier for the King of Pentacles, right? So the challenge of this is doing the right thing, bringing about the harvest in the right way. What we see is that this guy is in his throne of authority. He is yoked to it, the light and the dark powers equally with divine providence to get to his harvest. It is a 7. And so what this is saying is that there is right now the need for you on your provisionary path to get to a harvest. This indicates bring something to a close. This, in conjunction with this, is your efforts are going in the wrong way, right? You're spending the energy, you're doing the work. It's just in the wrong spot. Now we get to the harvest. What is the results from this? What are your due rewards? Once you have worked, nurtured, right? Once you have risen to meet your challenge and then nurtured your garden, weeded, watered, and fertilized, it's time to pick your crops. This is the area that deals with love and wrath, giving away affection, not receiving that affection in return. Neither one is intrinsically good. The balance is kindness, treating everyone as though they were a human being, deserving of that kindness. You have the 3 of Pentacles. This is the spirit of cooperation, right? We talked about this was the spirit of betrayal. This is the spirit of cooperation. This is antithetical to this, right? They are kind of polar opposites. And so what we see here is that this guy who represents you is learning his craft. He is doing this artwork. One of these guys is paying for that artwork, and the other one is the guy instructing him in how to do it. But you are doing the actual work, but you're all working together to create this beautiful work of art. This is in your harvest, and so this is you harvesting cooperation. This can indicate some divine assistance coming in, right? Now, if this was the lovers, then it would be a divine partnership. This may not be divine as in it is going to extend forever, right? But it can be fortuitous that you have a coming together with someone, even for a limited amount of time, in order to learn something about your harvest. And it is related to provision, right? You have provision, and provision all here. You have provision here. This is a manifestation path. This is a manifestation path, right? This is taking positive steps, empowering your future and giving the fuel, taking positive steps, reaching the final harvest and getting the fuel, right? And so there is links between these paths. All of these pentacles are presenting themselves down in your provisionary area, which is the as below. You do have a challenge around something that you are not expressing correctly. Now, what do? Now you have the pentacle of the page of pentacles. The page is the understanding card. He is not quite the knight yet, but he is working towards it. The page of pentacles, when he is standing upright, is looking into the future, gazing at the possibilities to understand what the best one is. You have this in the reverse, which indicates you may not have the best understanding, the best path of provision. Right? That has been reiterated. That is not just single. There is a lot of that here. And so this is, again, you putting your efforts in the wrong spot. You investing in quite the wrong thing. How that is unfolding for you, I don't know. I got some ideas about myself, but, right, like, I do an esoteric study. It is long, but it doesn't get a lot of views. Maybe I am investing my energy into the wrong thing by doing so, right? That would be indicated by this quite well, right? There is no results coming in. There's some destitution in the core part. There is putting the efforts into the wrong spot. If nobody watches it, what's really the point, right? This is you needing to have an understanding, but you do not, or you are not to give the understanding. This is tied to an interpersonal card, even though this is not an interpersonal relationship necessarily. The harvest is tangentially, right? It is love and wrath. And so this can indicate some kind of a partnership because you do not understand your path of provision, right? This is you not understanding the path of provision. That's what this is. And then this is you coming to that understanding by learning from someone else. Now we go to the divine. The divine is a direct message to you from the divine. It is not colored by the virtues and the vices. The divine has that in perfect measure. This is the presentation of the new path past the harvest, the 8th step in the path of the tarot. Did you leave your guess as to what it should be? I'm going to guess that this is probably going to be your current situation unfolding right now, is that you are investing your energy in the wrong spot. This could be a 2 of Pentacles or a 9 of Pentacles, indicating that you have a decision to make about the path of provision. This can be, what else could this be? This might be, I don't even know, right? This is probably a choice, right? It's probably around provision or change. I'm going to go with the 2 of Pentacles or the 9 of Pentacles. And then this one is probably going to be maybe a communication card, because it does appear that you need to communicate something, right? This communication over here that you are not having is really going to clear up a lot of confusion in your life. So I'm just going to put this as a general cards. I don't even really know what to do with it, or swords. Let's see what they are. The harvest of the path, right? That is the 7 of Pentacles. That is the next step from here. That's the 3 of Swords. We've seen that already. Okay, so what we have here is that your current situation is that you are at a harvest. That is what this indicates, right? Now, this may indicate that you are coming to the end of an endeavor. Not necessarily in a negative connotation, right? This is upright. This is getting your just rewards. This is what you have been working towards. but maybe it is time for a new direction, a new provisionary path unfolding, one step past the harvest. This is you in your current situation as a divine message to you on the new path that there is a harvest unfailing. This is, some people look at this as, is it worth the effort? I don't. He has already received one of his fruits. He is just waiting for the rest of them to come. All of these are planted in the past. He is waiting for them to come to the fullness of their path before he takes them off the vine. He's got one, right? One's already been harvested. The rest of them are coming. Now, how do you do that? You've got this again, right? The 3 indicates that there is something to learn. It is maybe around an idea, but this overall read is, right? This is you overcoming some self-restrictions, right? This is a sense of betrayal. There is no indication that it is actually a betrayal. This is your thoughts betraying you. This is you not seeing clearly. This is you in the problem of not investing correctly. This is you not communicating your desires. This is you not defining your desires. This is you holding yourself back from your harvest. Don't do that. Like, it can be hard to embrace change, but you should, right? Most times change comes out positive even if it seems negative. And so, if we take these 2 cards in consideration of everything else that is on the deck, you are being faced with the end of something, right? This is something dealing with provision. It is work. This is not a relationship, right? This is not a coworker. This is not a spouse. This is not a friend. This is not family. You don't have any cups. This has nothing to do with connections. This is all internal. Every single step of this is you not taking a step, you not stepping into your authority. That's what needs to happen. You are being faced right now with the end of something. Now, that end of something is directly related to provision. It's not a thought, right? This is not it, right? This is it. This is the end. This is the end of a path of provision. Now, that doesn't mean that there's not a new step. The 8 of Pentacles exists, right? That is the provision beginning on a higher level where you are in authority. This is you ending the path of provision where you are not in authority, right? The first path of provision, you're working for someone else. The second path of provision, you are stepping into the leadership role. This is the end of the first path. And you are being told, let go of some of these thoughts that are holding you back. This is not an interpersonal relationship. This is not somebody else holding you back. This is you not taking the correct steps due to your self-limiting beliefs. And the only way that that could have been more clear is if this would have been the 9 of Swords or the 8 of Swords like you already had in the crown. And so, that's going to bring us to the end of the read, and hopefully I brought a little bit of enlightenment and not too much confusion. If you like what I'm doing over here, let me know down below. Give me a like, a share, a follow, throw me a comment. Whether you agree or disagree with anything that was stated, put it in the box down below, and if it remains respectful, it gets to remain up. If you really like what I'm doing over here, hit me with that super thanks. Consider joining for a membership, hyping the video, that is free, picking up a copy of my book, that is not, or consulting me directly on Connect, which also is not free. To the crew, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate every single minute that you are here with me, and I am praying for you every single day. Until next time, I love you. God loves you. You are perfect, whole, and complete, just the way that you are, and this has been Pitt State. Peace.